Good, glorious morning, everyone. This is Sunday, June 4th. I want to welcome in all our audiences. Let's see, we got YouTube, Facebook, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Roku, and this will be uploaded to the podcast as well, which is another great platform to listen. The moment here has arrived for Power of Pure Presence. I want to pose a question. Are you approaching midlife? Are you in midlife? Have you questioned yourself and wondering what's next? Maybe you feel a little discontent about your situation and you've been really thinking about it. Let's take a moment to pause and breathe as we welcome in this brand new day, this show. And as we breathe, I want to bring to your attention that every deep breath that you consciously pay attention to, that you can drive down to the bottom of your lungs, helps you go from a state of sympathetic or fight or flight to parasympathetic, where your nervous system starts to go, wait, it's okay, we can relax now. There's no bear chasing me. There's no tiger behind the tree. There's no monster in the closet. I can maybe relax. So take a moment. I want to go through some breathing with you. And I want you to breathe in and out through your nose. And I have a great show planned for you today. I invite you to check in if you're listening on any of the platforms. But first, just take a moment and give yourself the gift of a pause, because if you found this, chances are your mind races. To-do lists, family members, children, grandchildren, grandparents, aunts, uncles, coworkers, colleagues, friends, demands, ceaseless flow of activity that never stops. It never stops. And my question is, if it doesn't stop and you don't take a moment, you don't get that time to refresh. You might just be living in that sympathetic mode where your body's always on high alert, always something to do, wired to do, wired to do, wired to do. I want to talk about something different today, but let's go through some breathing here. I need it. I got to be honest, I need it. So let's just take a moment. If you take it in the beautiful backdrop here, it's incredible. So I want to invite you to breathe in through your nose just for a little bit here. We're not going to go into some long meditation. We're just going to breathe in through the nose, out through the nose. In through the nose, out through the nose. And the next breath, see if you can go really deep. So let your lungs expand, let your belly blow out like a balloon. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. You feel your lungs expand. What's happening now? Your blood is circulating. Your nervous system is responding. Whatever thoughts come in, let them go. And just keep breathing in and out through your nose. Nice and easy. Notice your face. Are your eyebrows scowled? Your eyes? Is your jaw tight? Loosen it. Soften your face. Just give yourself a moment to breathe. Nothing to do, nothing to think, just a moment. each breath, the body responds automatically. Just welcome in this moment. This is where your life is happening. And as we get ready to go into the show, there's something you may think about giving, something you're here to receive. The key is to allow. Allow. It's hard to allow sometimes because we got to do. So give me one more deep breath through the nose. Let it out of your mouth. And then when you're ready, just flutter your eyes open, or if they were open, that's okay too. And let's step into this moment. Pulled up to this location today. The sun is shining, coming through the window, the heating me up. It's like in the 50s, but it just felt so good. Just a simple observation of the sun coming through the glass and heating you up, just noticing your body, feeling that is just a moment. It's just a moment that's captured. But let's talk about midlife manifestation this morning as we step into this moment. And your mind might be racing. That's okay. Go back to that breath if you need to. That one deep breath through your nose can driving down deep into your lungs does so much for your health, your physical being, but also your psyche, your nervous system. Gives you the ability to pause. So it's there for you anytime during the show. I'll probably prompt you during the show. But let's talk about midlife. You're approaching midlife. You're in midlife. What are some of the things that you could be feeling? Maybe you don't feel present. Maybe you feel there's always something to do. Maybe you have children in the house. Maybe you have a parent, an uncle, an aunt. Maybe you are in a career that you feel burned out. Maybe you're in a relationship that needs to change. And maybe you're feeling this discontent. Maybe there's a pain that you tolerated, and there's a purpose that's shrouded and covered. And even though the purpose isn't real or clear, even though the purpose isn't clear, this discontent reminds you that something needs to change, that things are not right. And it kind of comes up in the moment. Maybe you're an empty nest. Maybe the children went off to college, and now you just feel like there's a void of purpose. Maybe you need a reset. Maybe you need a life reset. So here's what I want to share. This is something that, talking about midlife manifestation, that most of us are taught, and then we manifest what we believe, but it's based on what we're taught. So we manifest based on what we're taught, but then what we're taught was not true for us. It was true for someone else. And then we might live this way. And by the way, this is not like that this is all bad. There's still plenty of beautiful things and moments. But that's the present moment, when it's pure, there's a pure part of you that's there. But we live from our heads so often that we're not living from this pure state. We live from our heads, beliefs, prescriptions, When I say prescriptions, I mean like thought prescriptions. Do this, do that, do this, do this. And it's so fast that we might forget. Let's see here. Just want to see how my reception is. Just want to get a check in here. Is my reception coming through? We'll get a check. If you're on here, let me know. So, a lot of this manifestation we've had was not based on what was true for us. It was based on what was true for someone else. Or maybe it was true for an earlier version of ourselves, and we've evolved since then. And we've evolved to the point where we know there's time to do something new, but we're not sure how to do it. So I want to talk about this today. But before I do, I want to share a poem with you here that I wrote that speaks to this. And this is called The Path, the Path, Taking the Path Not Taken. This was inspired by Robert Frost's poem, The Road Less Traveled. If you've heard about that poem, this was inspired by that, and I'm going to share it now. And this was just a different perspective. So rather than me talk about it, let me just share it. Here we go. I now tell my story with a sigh and glee. Someone ages and ages from now will see. Two paths emerged in a green wood. I took the one most traveled, as I should. Many years hence I reflect and see the wide path, unfulfilled, dreams left to be. Hypnotized, lulled to sleep, and almost buried alive. But a palpitating pulse rises from deep inside. I retrace my steps to that once fork in my path. Perhaps it will lend me a second chance. The wood, now yellow, orange, and red, beckons me. I am resurrected from the dead. One step, although semi-rattled and shaken, my foot firmly planted, taking the path not taken. Removed is all inner dissonance, and that has made all the difference. That was a poem that I wrote in the past month. It was inspired by Robert Frost's poem, The Road Less Traveled. So you can see some of the similar themes in there, but it's just an interesting thing that we get to a point in life and maybe we didn't take the path that was true for us. And we think it's too late. We think it's over. We start telling ourselves, the voice kicks up in our mind. It's just a voice, but it can be a powerful voice. If we get caught in here, in the head, it's telling us it's too late, I missed it. Whatever the voice is saying to you, what is your voice saying to you? That little gremlin in your head, what is it saying? What's it telling you? Is it telling you someday? Is it telling you it's too late? Is it telling you the best is already gone? What's it telling you? This show has evolved, and it touches me deeply to be able to broadcast with you and talk about this, because if I can get to the core, if I can get to the what's authentic and what's real, it's got a chance. That seed's got a chance to sprout. And maybe that seed is in you and you just forgot it's there. And you're thinking that, and let me share this, what I wrote actually. This is a little reflection that I had. Where did I write it down at? Let's see. I'll find it and I'll share it with you. But it has to do with just realizing that there's more. And I'm going to paraphrase because I think I left it in the car. The past echoes. This is all there is. The future, light hits your vision, creates a kaleidoscope of infinite possibilities in this moment. And those possibilities add new life to right now, this present moment. This present moment is what is real. And I'm going to keep the show short today because I want to give you something to reflect on. And it's a paradox. So if you're looking for a life reset, you've reached midlife and you've manifested a life, and maybe it's a life that you're really proud of. Maybe you feel fulfillment, but there's something else. There was something more that maybe you left behind. It's not too late. It is not too late. There's some things that were lost. There's some things that were gained, but you can always begin again. And if you can open up your mind and your heart, and one of the things I wrote down here is that, like, life can be so hypnotic. And they've done research on this. They know that people think the same thoughts every day. And here's the good news and the bad news. The good news is you're in midlife, you're approaching midlife. You have, okay, here's the good news. You have a plethora of experiences, knowledge, insights, experience that can be harnessed to manifest your second half. The bad news, you have a plethora of experiences, insights, and knowledge that can hinder you. So what makes the difference? What's the difference? The difference is how you look at it. Conscious observation in the present moment, and conscious observation of that voice that has colored you a certain way, that you can begin to really be reflective. So here's the paradox for manifesting something new. You've been conditioned, for most of you, type A personalities, to go for it. You've been conditioned for success. You've been conditioned to drive. You've been conditioned to manipulate the moment through the tips, tricks, and hacks to get to your desired result. And midlife oasis, manifesting, is about the opposite energy. This is the paradox. Ryan Holiday wrote a book called Stillness is the Key. Eckhart Tolle wrote a book called The Power of Now. We are either hyper-focused with the future, where we're worrying about what could happen, or we are regretting the past. And it pours, and the more life we have, the more life experience we have, the more it pours in and colors the moment. If I said, we're going to go to painting class, and I said, here, I'm going to give you a clean canvas, and I said, you're going to paint this canvas, but then someone came up on the left side and started throwing paint on your canvas, and you're like, yo. And then someone came up on the right side and they threw a different color on your canvas, and you'd be like, yo, well, this is my canvas. I want to paint the canvas. And the canvas gets painted with your brush in the moment based on the color you choose. So you don't want someone else throwing color on your canvas. And a lot of times when we're unconscious, it's the past that manifests in a character that's throwing color into this present moment. It's the future that throws another color into this present moment, and it shrouds the canvas, and the canvas isn't clean. And then we're supposed to pick up and grab a color, but we're looking at the canvas and we're going, it's not clean. So the way to create a life reset is to be super present. It's slow, not fast. It's still, not hyperactivity. And to create as much awareness in the moment as you can. And if you say, I have a busy life, I can't just do that, then the key is to find the windows where you can. If it's a hot minute, a 5-minute, a 10-minute window, you take that time and grab a hold of it. Which is what we're going to do right now. I'm going to step out of the frame. I just want to invite you to find that breath. If you want to do the nose breath, do that. If you want to keep your eyes open, take in the scene, enjoy it, give yourself the gift of this moment. Good morning, everyone. This is the present moment. This is Austin. You're watching The Power of Pure Presence, and I'm glad you're here today. What I just shared says more than my words. My words are, I don't know, they can't compare to this. Can't compare to this present moment. So I just want to give our sponsor a shout out, Duchess DJ Love, gallivanting like a royal. She is the travel, I want to say queen, but that wouldn't be right. She's the Duchess. And she has got an incredible resume of travel where she's able to take people she's taken friends, but if you can't physically go, she takes you on a journey. And we always talk about how travel organically pulls you into the present moment. And if you think about it, you've ever gone somewhere, you're so immersed, you're observing everything around you, you're taking it in, you're listening, just like we did there. And it's this beautiful experience. So she does that through travel. Her book Traveltude is out on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. And she's just incredible. So I want to invite you to connect with her platform. She just has a new show called Gallivanting Like a Royal, where she has guests, talks about travel. So I'm going to put that graphic up here so you can, there's a couple QR codes there. You can scan those QR codes if you're on one of the other Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV. I invite you to scan that and grab a hold of her book. So here we go. Okay, I am back, and I just want you to think about your reset. You're approaching midlife. There's all kinds of things going. Just figure out where you are, right? Just take a moment just to dial into the moment. Give yourself the pause that's necessary. And if you have a really busy life right now, it's your responsibility to find a time. If it's for 5 minutes out in nature where you can just get away, 10 minutes, whatever you can do, and begin to cultivate that. And that's one of the things with the show. We do these pause and breathe breaks, right? We just pause and we breathe. And I'm going to do that again before we end. I'm going to share the poem, do that again. I also want to share a video we're doing a retreat called Midlife Oasis. So if you want to take this a step further, we are going to Costa Rica, and this place is just magical. So if you wanted to take it a step further and you thought, I need to get out of my environment to really give myself time, we're going to be going there March 2nd through March 10th of 2024. We have some openings. This is a great way to give yourself that midlife reset. The other thing to think about is that if you look at professors in the academic realm, there used to be a thing that was more popular called a sabbatical. So after a said number of years, you would take a sabbatical, where it would be some time off from the normal routine. It could be a working sabbatical. Maybe you're writing a book, you're doing some more research, but it's a sabbatical. It's a break away from the norm. Now, many of us never get that. We just work 10, 15, 20 years, 30 years, no break. No break. What kind of life is that if you don't get time to reflect and to figure out what the rest of your life could be, or really just to get perspective on the tweaks you want to make? And even if the changes are minor, like let's say you have a great life and you've lived a great life, but that sabbatical, that midlife oasis affords you the opportunity to maybe tweak a couple things. And those couple things could make all the difference over time. So let me share this midlife oasis. It's going to be a lot of fun. Lots of great moments. I know there's going to be some magical moments there. So let's share that. Midlife oasis. Reset your life, discover your purpose, live more fully now. What you thought was the end was a glorious, glorious new beginning of meaning and purpose. It's there for you. Take advantage of it. Go to my website, austinhaines.com. I'll see if I can throw that up here. And what you can do, you can go to book a free virtual discovery. I'd be glad to talk with you about it. We're vetting people. It's not just for everybody. We have a set number, but it could be for you. Maybe this found you on one of the platforms. So I'm going to wrap up today a little early. I'm going to share the poem one more time with everybody if you missed it. And this is going to be in my upcoming poetry book called Seeds of Infinitude. Seeds of Infinitude. So be on the lookout for that. There'll be more stuff there. And wherever you're finding this, if you're on Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Roku, or podcast, I want to invite you to go to the YouTube channel at Austin J. Haynes. You can subscribe there. It's a huge, huge help for you. Just that I'm talking to you. If you're listening, you go subscribe there. It helps me a great deal. Plus, if you're on the podcast, it gives you the opportunity to see the video, see the beautiful places like this backdrop here. I'm at Belmont Plateau in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and it's an incredible viewpoint. It's beautiful now, and it's even when it's exceptional when the sun's setting. You can see the sun just concentrates on the buildings, and it's an incredible backdrop. So if you are on the podcast, go to YouTube at Austin J. Haynes, AustinJHaines, and you can see the beautiful backdrop here. And you can also see the poem, which I'm going to share. You can hear it, but if you're on the video, you'll be able to see it. So I'm going to share this one more time. I want to thank you for being here this week for Power of Pure Presence, Midlife Manifestation. This is not the end. There is more for you. There is more for you. And what you thought was the end is actually a glorious new beginning. So here's the poem. I now tell my story with a sigh and glee. Someone ages and ages from now will see. Two paths emerged in a green wood. I took the one most traveled, as I should. Many years hence I reflect and see the wide path, unfulfilled, dreams left to be. Hypnotized, lulled to sleep, and almost buried alive. But a palpitating pulse rises from deep inside. I retrace my steps to that once fork in my path. Perhaps it will lend me a second chance. The wood, now yellow, orange, and red, beckons me. I am resurrected from the dead. One step, although semi-rattled and shaken, my foot firmly planted, taking the path not taken. Removed is all inner dissonance, and that has made all the difference. That's a poem that's going to be in Seeds of Infinitude. It's my first poetry book, and it's touched me deeply, and I want it to touch you deeply. And I know that it will if you stay with me. So I'm going to step out of the frame here again. I just take this in. I mean, this is your opportunity to begin the practice of pausing and breathing, living in this moment, creating space in your life to dial into what's true. So as I sum up, if you're feeling discontent, you're feeling like the voice is kicking up in your head, it's telling you this is all there is. Maybe you want to change your career, your relationship. Maybe you're an empty nester. Maybe your house is filled with children, or maybe an elderly parent or a family member. and you're finding this, like, your duty, you're taking care of your obligations as you should, right? There's a duty, there's fulfillment in duty, even when it doesn't feel good. But there's something deeper that's there, and it shows up as discontent. And that discontent, you're trying to interpret it. What does it mean? And what it means is that there's something more. There's more for you to do, but it starts with this pause. It's not doubling down to go faster. It's the opposite energy. It's taking this time, whether you're approaching midlife, and opening up, because that earlier program, whether you accepted it from somebody else or whether it was an earlier version of yourself, it might need to be let go. But you first may need to embrace it first to make sense of it, so you can allow this deeper part of yourself. What's true for you now in this season? What's true for you now in this part of your life? And the best way to start is to dial into what's true for you in this moment. So I'm going to step out of the scene. Just take some time to pause and breathe. In through the nose, out through the nose, but whatever feels good. Fill the belly up. Listen to the sounds. Take in the view here. And let's just see what shows up right here. What's true for you right now? So, what a beautiful day. I'm just I live for this. Just these moments like this. It's always here. That's something I want to share as we close out the show. This is Power of Pure Presence. My name's Austin J. Haynes. This is the art, practicing the art of living fully now. So different times throughout the show, we just pause and breathe. It doesn't have to be some long meditation or something like that. It's just conditioning ourselves. At any time, we can pause. We can take a moment, step out of the thinking mind, and discover what's true in this moment for you. Midlife manifestation, whatever has happened, whatever your current life situation. You know what? I'm just going to read this. This will say more. This was a reflection from this morning. The past echoes. It's always been this way. Your future whispers. There's more. The light flickers through your vision. A kaleidoscope. Brilliant colors appear. Your present moment is colored with infinite possibilities. And speaking of that, I had another little thing I was going to share with. Oh, here it is. My poetry book's coming out. It's called Seeds of Infinitude. These little seeds, the dandelion, can travel miles upon miles upon miles. It floats on the wind, right? So these seeds disperse. They head into the air as if by chance. No rhyme or reason. They could be lost. Who knows where they're going to go? And in spite of that, they will land somewhere. And their purpose will become real. When it hits the soil, it manifests and come to fruition. So despite the fact that the seed was blown on the wind, lost most of the time by chance, but even in this dandelion, which continues to, the wind is taking it. Look at that. Look at that. That those seeds will land and take root, because that's what it's meant to do. And so it is with you. If you feel lost, you're in midlife, you're wondering what life is about, you're thinking it's over, there is infinite possibilities in your life in this moment. Just like this. And even when you're feeling lost, like you're blowing in the wind and you don't know where you're going, that seed never leaves you. Just like this, no matter where this thing blows, no matter where the wind takes it, that seed stays with it. And then when it lands in the right environment, it will take root. And so it is with you. My name's Austin J. Haynes. This is the Power of Pure Presence. If you are seeing this for the first time, I invite you to go over to the YouTube channel. This is also a podcast. So if you're on the podcast and you want to see the video, You can go to YouTube if you're on the video and you like to listen on the go. This is the 23rd episode, and I'm honored, grateful, and humbled to bring it to you. And I'm glad you're here today. Have a beautiful day.